Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. I just finished getting ready for my day. It is currently 8:07 a.m. on Saturday, August 26th, and I'm getting ready to go take my Nasm exam. I'm super excited to officially be a certified personal trainer, and I just thought I'd take this opportunity to take you guys with me this morning and also explain my experience with Nasm and some study tips on how you can pass your exam too. So thank you guys for tuning in, and let's go ahead and get started.
Welcome to Starbucks. What can I serve for you today?
Can I do a venti ice green tea, please, with 2 pumps of classic?
Yeah, anything else?
And a bacon and Gouda breakfast sandwich.
Alright, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alright, $7.25.
Thank you. Hey you guys, I just got out the testing center and I passed my exam. They don't give you an exact score, so I don't know what I passed with, but I passed and that's all that matters. I'm so excited and so relieved to start my journey as a certified personal trainer, and I will be making a video later about how I passed, what I did to study, and some study tips that might help you pass yours if you're taking your Nasm exam as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.
Hi you guys, I just got back from my exam and I'm so relieved that it's finally over with. I just thought I'd take this time to explain to you guys what I did to study for the exam and maybe what can help you study for your exam and help you pass yours. So yeah, if you're interested in learning about my Nasm experience and how to study, then go ahead and stay tuned, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the Nasm textbook is separated into 16 different chapters, as well as the online program that they use for you to study. It's separated into 16 modules which correlate with those chapters, and they divide those 16 chapters into different domains. And on the Nasm website, they explain how much of each domain is going to be seen on the exam, so I'm going to go ahead and explain that to you guys. Domain 1 is the basic and applied sciences and nutritional concepts, which will be 17% of your exam. Domain 2 is assessment, which is 18%. Domain 3 is program design, which is 21%. Domain 4 is exercise technique and training instruction, which is 22%. Domain 5 is client relations and behavioral coaching, which is 12%. And Domain 6 is professional development and responsibility, which is 10%. I actually did not study the textbook, so yeah, I'm probably a bad example, honestly, but I just felt that the textbook was taking way too much time and I could have learned so much more information without spending so many hours trying to read every single chapter. I think I read up to chapter 7 or 8 when I realized that I was just spending too much time reading and not enough time actually learning the material. So I eventually just stopped reading the textbook and I was only doing the online modules and pretty much self-teaching. So if there was something in the module that I did not understand, I would look up YouTube videos or even look it up on Google on how to better elaborate on those topics. But yeah, so I suggest reading the textbook if you learn better that way. But personally, I just didn't think that was the best option for me and it was taking up way too much time. So the modules on the self-study and the study guide that is found on the self-study as well is what helped me the most. I have a lot of topics written down on my phone that I believe are the most important to study for the exam. I don't know how in-depth I can go about the exam to you guys, so I'm just going to give a general overview of what I think you should study to pass your exam. Before I get started, I do feel that I should tell you guys that I am a kinesiology student, so I already had a lot of prior knowledge about these topics before I even signed up for the Nasm program. I've taken Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2, I've taken Applied Kinesiology and Exercise Physiology, so I already learned a lot of these topics that were already covered that I feel are really important for this exam. So I'm going to say those, and then I'll go into the stuff that I did not really understand or that I was learning as I was going through the self-study program. The planes of motion and different types of exercises and movements that occur in each of those planes, sagittal, transverse, and frontal. The different anatomic locations and directional terms, anterior, posterior, superior, inferior, contra and ipsilateral, proximal and distal, the different joint types, ball and socket, hinge, pivot, gliding, saddle, etc. The different types of joint motions, extension, flexion, abduction and adduction, internal and external rotation, and plantar and dorsiflexion. The different muscle actions, concentric, eccentric, and isometric, and the different inhibitions and efficiencies that occur during those contractions and when each of the muscle actions occur during a specific movement or exercise. All the different major muscles in the body is going to be huge on the exam. They are seen throughout a number of concepts throughout the Nasm program, so I definitely suggest studying those inside and out. I learned most of these in anatomy and physiology, so there was a lot that I already understood, but I'm going to go ahead and read some of them off to you. Your lats, pecs, the different types of shoulder muscles, subscapularis, teres minor and teres major, all the different parts of the deltoid, the different abdominal muscles, rectus abdominis, internal and external obliques, transverse abdominis, your hip abductors and adductors, and your different quadriceps, hamstrings, and calf muscles. There are different types of muscles that make up your quadricep and your hamstring and your calf, and you need to know all the different ones. The 3 different parts of the spine, cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. The local, global stabilization systems and the muscles that make up each system. The nervous system, efferent and afferent neurons, mechano and thermoreceptors, joint receptors, Golgi tendon organs, and muscle spindles. The muscular system, sarcomeres, the sliding filament theory, and the different types of muscle fibers and when those different muscle fibers are being used, anaerobic and aerobically. The cardiovascular system, the different parts of the heart and how the blood travels through the body, and the cardiovascular phase training. The respiratory system and how we breathe, and VO2 and VO2 max. Exercise metabolism, the different energy systems, ATP, PC, glycolysis, and oxidative. The OPT model is the most important part of the whole entire program. The OPT model is Nasm's specific model that they use to train their clients and what they teach us and how we should train our clients. It is very specific. You need to know all the different intensities, rest, timing, and warm-ups of each phase of the OPT model. And each phase of the OPT model is used in different types of training, which include resistance, core, balance, and reactive training. And each 4 of those different types of training have their own exercises that are included in the OPT model. And you need to know all those different exercises and the regressions and progressions of each of those exercises. And that is, I cannot even express how important that is. You will see it throughout the exams. You will need to know general macronutrient and nutrition information, the different macronutrients, carbs, fats, and proteins, how much of each should be included in your diet, how much water you need to stay hydrated, micronutrients, and what all the different macronutrients are made up of. The different cardiorespiratory assessments, physiological assessments, pulse, resting heart rate, blood pressure, the different postural assessments, lower cross, upper cross, and pronation distortion syndrome. The different body composition assessments, circumference, skin folds, BMI, hydrostatic weighing, and all of those. The different performance tests and what they assess. The Davies test, the shark scale test, the bench press test, the squat test, the push-up test, and the left test. And the dynamic postural assessments are just as important as the OPT model, specifically the overhead squat assessment. You need to know the overactive and underactive muscles of the different compensations, excessive forward lean, anterior and posterior pelvic tilt, arms falling forward, feet turning out, and the knees moving in or out, as well as the single leg squat assessment, the pushing and the pulling assessment. You will also need to know the different training for special populations, youth, older adults, during pregnancy, obesity, hypertension, and osteoporosis. Each of the special populations have their own rest times, their own intensity, their own cardio throughout the week, and how long those sessions can be, how many sets and rep ranges. So you need to know the difference between all those different populations. The different types of flexibility, corrective, active, functional, and the different types of stretching: self-myofascial release, static stretching, active isolated stretching, and dynamic stretching. You need to know what SAC training is, speed, agility, and quickness, and the definitions of each of those different types of training. General adaptation syndrome and its 3 stages, the different principles, specificity, overload, and variation, the different periodizations and different cycles of training plans, and a general idea of acute variables, communication skills with clients, SMART goals, which is an acronym, and behavior change modifications and the different stages of change, professional guidelines and standards of Nasm, the 4 P's of marketing, and recertification in CEUs. I feel like all that stuff is the most important. It seems like I covered a lot, but they had a way of spreading out all the information to where they kind of addressed every topic in the exam. I made sure to print out the different exercises for the OPT model. So I have a packet of all of those that I made sure I knew. I printed out the program design for special population charts as well, and the different types of assessments and their compensations. It tells you the overactive and underactive muscles of each compensation. Overactive muscles are also referred to as being shortened or needed to be stretched, and underactive muscles are considered to be lengthened. I would print this out and know this inside and out. And the one thing that helped me the most with passing my exam was definitely the Pocket Prep app, which is this one right here. You're allowed to take however many practice exams you want, and you can take up to 100 questions. They have 500 questions from this year's 2017 Nasm exam, and I saw a lot of the questions that I saw on the app on the actual exam, so I definitely suggest downloading that. The full version of the app does cost $14.99, but it's definitely worth it since you paid so much for your Nasm program. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this helps you out. You can leave any questions or comments down below regarding your exam or your experience with Nasm. And remember to like and subscribe for more videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.